I never expected my sister's last letter to arrive 3 days after her funeral. The envelope was old, yellowed, and addressed in her handwriting. The handwriting I grew up seeing on birthday cards, notes on the fridge, and the little messages she used to slip under my door when I was too angry to talk. But this letter was different. The ink was shaky. The paper smelled faintly of smoke. And the message inside was short. If you're reading this, it means I failed. Don't come looking for me. Don't open the red box. And whatever you do, don't trust the man in the photograph. I read it 3 times, each word sinking deeper into my chest. My sister Lila had always been the strong one, the one who held the family together. And then he smiled even when everything was falling apart. But the woman in the coffin wasn't the sister I remembered. Her face had been pale, almost gray, her eyes closed too tightly, as if she were trying to keep something inside. And the bruises on her arms, the ones the coroner dismissed as accidental, didn't look accidental at all. I folded the letter and stared at the red box sitting on her desk. It was small, wooden, locked with a rusted clasp. I shouldn't have opened it. But grief makes you reckless. Inside, I found a photograph. A man standing behind Lila. Tall, smiling, his hand on her shoulder. But his face was blurred. Not by motion. Not by age. Blurred as if someone had erased it. On the back of the photo, Lila had written one sentence. "He's not real." I felt the room grow colder. Then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "You opened the box?" I dropped the phone. The house fell silent. Then someone knocked on the front door. 3 slow, heavy knocks. I whispered, "Lila, what did you get yourself into?" The knocking continued, and a voice whispered through the door, "Let me in." I didn't open the door. I couldn't. The voice on the other side wasn't human. It was too calm, too smooth, too patient. I backed away slowly, gripping the photograph in my hand. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then footsteps moved across the porch. Slow, deliberate. I waited until the sound faded before I dared to breathe again. I needed answers. I drove to Lila's apartment, the place she had lived for the last 2 years, the place she had refused to let me visit. The building was old, the hallways dim, the air thick with the smell of dust and old carpet. Her door was still covered in police tape. I tore it off. Inside, the apartment was a mess. Papers scattered, furniture overturned, as if someone had searched the place in a hurry, or as if Lila had been running from something. I found her journal under the bed. The last entry was written the night before she died. "He's watching me again. He stands in the corner of the room. He never speaks. He never moves. But every time I blink, he's closer." I felt a chill crawl up my spine. I turned on the lamp. And froze. A shadow stood in the corner of the room. Tall, still, watching me. I blinked. It was closer. I stumbled backward, heart pounding. The shadow didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't make a sound. I grabbed the journal and ran out of the apartment, slamming the door behind me. In the hallway, I opened the journal again. The last line was written in a different handwriting. "Not Lila's. You're next." My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "Stop reading her things." I dropped the journal. Someone was watching me. Someone who knew exactly where I was. I ran down the stairs and out of the building. The street was empty. Too empty. Then I saw him, the man from the photograph, standing under the streetlight. His face still blurred. He lifted his hand and pointed at me. And the streetlight flickered. I ran. I didn't look back. I didn't stop until I reached my car. My hands shook as I fumbled with the keys. The engine roared to life, and I sped away from the apartment, from the streetlight, from the man with no face. But he wasn't gone. Every time I checked the rearview mirror, I saw him, standing on the side of the road, watching me. Never moving, never blinking. I drove to the only place I felt safe, my childhood home. The house was dark, quiet, untouched since the funeral. I locked the doors, closed the curtains, and sat on the floor with Lila's journal in my lap. I needed to understand. I flipped through the pages. Most entries were normal. Work stress, family memories, random thoughts. But then the tone changed. He followed me again today. He doesn't walk. He just appears. Like a glitch in reality. Another entry. I think he's inside the mirror. I saw him behind me. But when I turned around, he wasn't there. And then he wants something from me. I don't know what. But I think he knows my name. I closed the journal. The house creaked. I stood slowly. The hallway was dark. Too dark. I turned on the light. And froze. A message was written on the wall in black ink. She should have listened. My breath caught in my throat. I whispered, "What do you want from me?" A voice answered from the darkness. "You opened the box." I turned. The man from the photograph stood in the hallway, closer than ever, his face still blurred. But now I could see something behind the blur. Eyes, watching me. I stumbled backward. He stepped forward, and the lights went out.